Welcome, everyone. I'm Paula Bartholomew, and I'm so delighted that you've joined me for Hawthorne University's All About Alumni series. This is where we get to hear directly from our graduates about the exciting things they're doing professionally. I'll be the moderator today, and we're going to meet with Autumn Smith. Autumn graduated from Hawthorne's Masters in Holistic Nutrition program in 2015. She graduated summa cum laude and on the President's List. And I asked Autumn to present and talk with us about her Paleo Valley business and really what it takes to manage its operations. So hello, Autumn. Welcome.
Hi, I'm honored to be your guest today. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for presenting. I'm really excited to be here together. Autumn's going to share with us how she and her team at Paleo Valley built a $1 million business, and their mission is to bring nutrient-dense snacks to the masses. So I'm really delighted to talk with you today and to learn more from your nutrient-dense foods in a nutrient-starved world presentation. It's a great title. Sure got my attention.
It's my husband for you.
Autumn, I usually
Okay.
do the introductions, but I want to give you the opportunity to tell your story in your own words. And so why don't I have you get started?
Okay. I am okay.
Let's,
Like
why don't
Paula
I
said,
start a little bit of just what piqued your interest in holistic nutrition? We could start there. Just tell
okay.
your
Sounds
story, yeah?
perfect.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I began life I just as a bundle of energy. So my mom put me into dance right away, and I think I naturally gravitated towards health and wellness from that point. And it was in my teens that I really started to suffer from some severe digestive issues. My stomach was so distended that I actually looked pregnant, and I actually remember one night I had my mother take me to the emergency room because the pain was so severe. But the doctors really didn't have any answers for me, and they just said I had irritable bowel syndrome and that I should continue to take Gas X or Beano, which it didn't really work for me at all. And so I kind of just learned to live with the condition, forgot what it really felt like to feel well until I met my handsome husband, who you can see in this picture. And we moved in together, and he began to witness what I was experiencing every night. And he just could not believe that there wasn't an answer. So he begged me to see a final doctor, which we did. And again, they had no solutions for me. And so he took it upon himself to research tirelessly. We came upon the paleo diet, implemented its principles for 30 days, and pretty much all my digestive issues subsided, along with the anxiety I was also suffering from concurrently. And then
Right.
he adopted the diet as well, felt better than ever. My sister lost 30 pounds when we shared it with her, and his father was able to come off statins. So we were just incredibly inspired. We shared it with 200 of our closest friends and family, and they also, it was just unanimous. Everyone was experiencing amazing results. So I felt truly inspired. I had to share the healing power of food with anyone who'd listen. But the problem was, I was kind of working my dream job at the time. I was a yoga instructor. I was a premier tier fitness trainer for the fitness mogul Tracy Anderson. I was actually even on tour with Jennifer Lopez. But it was something inside of me just said, you know, fitness and exercise, they're really, really powerful transformational tools, but they're not the end of the story. And I just knew that if I could understand this dietary piece better, then I could really get out there and serve as many people as possible. And so that's what I did. I went back to school and I chose Hawthorne, which I will never regret. I got my Master's of Science in Holistic Nutrition. And then I also became an eating psychology coach through the Institute of Psychology for Eating. And then my husband and I and his brother and another wonderful friend and coder named Matthew, we formed Paleo Valley. And our goal was just to get to share the healing power of food with 100 million people worldwide. And though I've always been really committed to the cause, I'm, my devotion is increased exponentially as a result of my little son Maverick here, who was born just about a year ago.
Hmm. Welcome, Maverick, to our world.
Thank you.
You know, what a
He's
what
excited.
a mission, right? What a mission to reach 100 million people. So
Yes.
how close are you to that, Autumn?
Well, we're making it happen. We are getting closer every day. I mean, just from last year, I think we have double the business already just in this year that we did last year. And so we've been at it about 2.5, 3 years, and we are going to get there. It's going to keep us busy, but like I say, the only thing I do in moderation is moderation. And so we've got some big goals, but we have a really passionate team behind it. So I think we're gonna reach it, hopefully.
Well, it's a beautiful business from my perspective, so I look forward to hearing more about it. But are you ready to talk a little bit about why you chose Hawthorne and how that education served you?
Absolutely. Like I said, I will never regret the decision. It's been such a perfect foundation for everything that I've been able to do since I graduated. And like I said, the main reason I chose it, well, one of the reasons was because I was literally on tour when I decided to make this career transition. And so I knew I'd been away from my husband for 7 months. I knew I really, really wanted something that would allow me to come home and still be moving forward, but also be able to reconnect with him. And we also wanted to start a family. And so Hawthorne definitely provided that flexibility. What I also loved was its well-rounded curriculum. You see in the coursework, you're going to work with a variety of conditions and learn how to treat them or prevent them, work or support them, probably more accurately, with food and nutrients. They had a really thorough coursework and a focus on biochemical individuality that I loved. It wasn't pushing any sort of way of eating. It was just kind of accentuating that we all have unique needs, and I loved that. You also learned to get to the root and to question everything, which I thought was perfect. And clinical skills. This was also huge because they weren't just going to have you listen to a lecture or read a book and then just kind of throw you out into the world. Instead, you work with clients throughout the entire program. And not only, that's wonderful, not only because you get to actually create change or positive change in another person's life, which just gave you a little window of what it was actually going to be like to be able to do this later, and which was so empowering and inspiring. But it also gave you really, really practical advice. They're not just shoving you out the door and just saying good luck. They're there to support you, and you're there to learn. And they also have the webinar series, as you know, because you're probably listening. And it just, no matter what ailment one of your clients comes to you with, they have expert information available for you on that topic. So that was really helpful. But perhaps my favorite part of the program, and the thing that really caught my eye, was the access and the assignment of a mentor and a professor. From the very beginning, I was assigned Marcia Sendar, who was amazing, and she kind of just took me through the program. And I think the downfall of a lot of online programs is that they don't have that. You'd think they don't have that banter, that classroom, that really strong connection with the professor, but Hawthorne provided that. And not only that, but at the end of every course, we actually had to have a little question and answer session where they tested my knowledge. And so it wasn't that I just memorize things or could choose them out of a multiple choice little test. I actually had to learn to articulate it and speak with a colleague and report it. And so that really, really was helpful. And so many things I love about Hawthorne, but those are my four favorite.
Well, thank you. No, having a mentor that you're working one-on-one with and having access to other students while you're going through the program, I think is really a remarkable feature of Hawthorne's. And for you talk about the course conference, and most schools you have your written work that you're submitting, and you have a lot of variety in that too. I mean, Hawthorne's assignments are geared to be very practical, so that you're developing materials that you can use professionally afterwards. But the oral component in the course conference, it demonstrates your ability to speak and to demonstrate that you're competent in the concepts that you've demonstrated in writing, and that you can convey these to your client base. And so it's a huge piece that you've gotten there.
I can't even tell you how much that helped me because I tend to overlearn and really get attuned to these details that just aren't effective for most people you're going to help. And so we constantly had to bring me down and mellow me out and she really helped me do that. And because of it, I'm able to write now emails that are way more user friendly than they would have been if I would have just gone off on my own.
Fantastic. And when you shared your story, Autumn, in dealing with IBS and also anxiety, did that influence your thesis focus at Hawthorne?
Yes, it did. As a matter of fact, I did my thesis on dietary strategies for the prevention and treatment of anxiety. And it actually, not only did it influence that, but that study and my thesis influenced our flagship product too. So yeah, it definitely influenced it.
Well, tied right in. So let's talk a little bit about let's talk more about what you've been doing since graduation and get more into Paleo Valley.
Okay. And like I said, yes, with my husband and his brother and a wonderful friend named Matthew, we founded Paleo Valley. And our mission is just to help everyone reclaim vibrant health and to understand that it can be a decision and a result of what you put on your fork. And we just really want everyone to know that each and every dietary choice is a powerful opportunity to love and care for yourself. And so what we found in the beginning, we wanted to do Kickstart and informational products, and I really wanted to get all the information that I was using or learning at Hawthorne out to the masses, and we did that. But what we saw a bigger need for and a huge gap in the market for was snacks that made this lifestyle realistic, because frankly, I don't love to be in the kitchen, and I realized that having these nutrient-dense options available could mean the difference between someone being able to sustain this lifestyle for 30 days and someone being able to do it forever. And so I thought, wow, okay, this is a powerful opportunity here. And so we kind of seized that. We knew that we could do it better because a lot of people were just cutting corners somewhere, a lot of food manufacturers, whether it was adding in sugar, maybe some GMOs, some hidden GMOs, or poor quality oils, and a lot of other food manufacturers, they're just taking out the buzzwords gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free. And while that's a really good thing because the consciousness is shifting and people are understanding that certain ingredients are better than others, but what was left a lot of times was just a nutrient lean product as well. It just didn't have anything that was going to promote vibrant health. So we thought, we can do this better, and we can do this with integrity and transparency
Autumn,
along the way. And so, yes?
I'm going to interrupt you for a minute because we lost audio and I don't think we heard what you've said about Paleo Valley.
Oh no. Okay.
We heard it. There was no audio loss on this end.
All right, I'm sorry, it was on my end. My apologies. Please continue.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. And so then what we did was like I was kind of referring to before, we had my thesis, and we wanted to make a product that not only kept you full for until the next meal, but that actually went beyond that and promoted vibrant health. And so I was learning all about the importance of grass-fed red meat, and especially for reducing inflammation. And then during my thesis, I learned about the work of Dr. Felice Jacka, who really inspired me, out of Deakin University in Australia. And she found that the more red meat women ate, the less prone they were to anxiety and depression, and that really spoke to me given my past. And I also knew there was a huge stigma against red meat, and people didn't understand that there was a distinction, that grass-fed red meat was a very, very different product than conventionally raised red meat. So we started there, and we sourced it, of course, grass-fed and grass-finished from small family farms, and then we added organic spices. But I think what makes me most proud about our beef stick is the fact that it's processed in a very different way than pretty much every other beef stick on the market. And we kind of encountered this hurdle when we were trying to make the product. And what we found is that most made today, they involve this process where you add these little beads to the beef before cooking, and it's called encapsulated citric acid or lactic acid. And the unfortunate part about this is on the label, it can just say citric acid or lactic acid, which you think is, oh, that's, from citrus or fruit, or that's what I assumed in the very beginning. But it's actually grown from black mold on genetically modified corn most of the time. And that's not even the worst part about it, because then it's encapsulated in hydrogenated oil. And even on the spec sheet for that encapsulation, it says the hydrogenated oil used is highly refined, bleached, and deodorized. And that just could not be a part of any product that I was going to get behind. And so we had to figure out how to do it better. And so we just used that ancestral lens that we had learned to look with during the paleo diet. And we decided, well, they preserved meat and seafood using fermentation, and so we were going to do it. And so we got on the phone. I called hundreds of manufacturers. No one wants to do this, ferment the beef sticks, because it takes 4 to 5 times longer. It's just not cost effective. But we found one guy willing to do it, and he's been doing it ever since. And it's not only allowed us to avoid all of the GMOs, hydrogenated oils, and any other freaky chemicals being used, but it also results in 1 billion colony-forming units or probiotics per stick. So that really, really made me excited. And so we have 3 flavors. We have a garlic summer sausage, an original, and a jalapeno. and a summer sausage. And we're also working on an autoimmune friendly beef stick because we had so many people write in about it. We're doing some superfood bars, a greens powder, an organic greens powder coming out soon. So we've got a lot of products in the works, and we're always looking to bring to the masses whatever people need. So if you guys have feedback, we'd love to hear it.
Well, I'm so grateful that you care so much and that you did your research, because most people would just see citric acid, no problem, and use it and not have looked any further than that. I mean, how many people know what you've discovered of what we're putting in our food, right?
I know, not enough. And I can credit Hawthorne for that. I mean, I think a lot of people know that hydrogenated oils and trans fats are bad, but in Hawthorne I learned to question, to get to the source, to look for the funding behind the research and all of those things. So I just kept digging and calling and asking the hard questions. And so, yeah, I mean, you can credit me, but also it was a lot of the education as well that gave me the questions to ask.
Right, thank you. And the nerve to call 100 manufacturers, right?
And the patience. You get a lot of no's when you're on that journey, but that's okay. It's all worth it once you get that one yes.
I agree. All right, let's talk a little bit more about your business and how you've been growing it. We got to start with the customer base. So let's talk about your list.
Yeah, well, I'm so fortunate that I have my husband on my team and his brother, like I've said, and a coder. And so I don't know a lot about web development and marketing, but they sure do. And through the time that we've worked together, they've taught me a lot. And so I just kind of want to help you guys because we're an online-based business. I know that's kind of what a lot of people are doing today too. So growing an email list is an important part of that. And I think it starts with knowing your demographic. And that just means being really specific about who are you trying to help? When you wake up and get excited about this work, who specifically do you see on the other end of that computer or listening to your podcast, or who do you want to help? And interview people who are that age if you're not that age. For instance, I'm constantly calling my mother and my mother-in-law because they're both middle-aged women, and that's our demographic. And so I'm asking them, what do you guys need? What can we do? And so I think that's the first thing that you should do. And then once you've found out who you're trying to help, figure out what it is they need and then give that away for free. I think that goodwill goes a long way. You help make their life a lot easier. For instance, we used recipe books, physical recipe books eventually, because we thought maybe that would bring people back to the kitchen. It'd be a nice cue. It'd make their lives easier. We tried an anti-anxiety protocol. I actually gave away my thesis when I did the anxiety summit so that we could just help people. Just giving people that information in exchange for that email is a lot easier to go, a lot easier way to go and more effective. And then I think the third thing, oh, I'm sorry, Paula.
No, it's curious that you gave away your thesis. That's exciting to me. How many people were interested in that?
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, I obviously reworked it a little, and so it wasn't quite as technical, but I know we had about 1,000 downloads, which was nice.
It's really exciting, yeah. And did you get
feedback? I really liked it, yeah. Yeah, people were saying that it really, really helped them. A few of them said that I could again, make it a little less technical, but I will be working on that. And like I said, I'm open to feedback, and we're going to simplify, and we're going to reship, and hopefully even more people will finish it by then.
All right, terrific.
And that kind of leads into the next point, is educate people in a really, really, like, again, on this point, user-friendly, relatable, and diverse way. I think just you don't want them to just come to you for one thing. You want to empower them to continue this lifestyle forever, and you want them to be really excited every single day about it, about their ability to transform their health. And so we just diversify our content. We do emails, we do articles, we do podcasts, we do transformational podcasts now, which I'm excited about. Is some of our subscribers come on and they tell their personal story, which has been really, really fun. Recipe books, recipe emails, guest posts, current events, whatever it is, just keep them excited. And I think that makes a customer stay around. And for us, obviously, creating high-quality products that fill a gap in the market. Really important. Once you figure out who you're looking to help, then what they're needing, then look at what else is on the market, or if you have a unique idea of your own, obviously go that route. But it doesn't have to be revolutionary. Like, there's nothing revolutionary about a beef stick necessarily, but you just have to do it a little bit better, do it a little more thoughtfully, a little more meticulously, kind of be the Apple. And it's really a great thing, because when you do a high quality product that people just get excited about, you don't really have to market it. It's kind of word of mouth. It spreads. People like to cheerlead people who are doing things with the right intentions, I think. So we found that really, really helpful. I also think it's important to keep your audience engaged. I treat everyone on my list like a friend. When they reach out, I always respond. I ask for their feedback. When I create new programs, I ask them specifically, what are you guys needing? What's going to help you reach your goals more effectively? I have little giveaways. And I think one time I had Dr. Terry Walls on the podcast, which was really, really an honor. And everyone wrote in. I mean, I got so many, just flooded with emails after I gave everyone the opportunity to write in with their specific questions. And it took me days. I had Dr. Terry Walls stay on the line afterwards. We answered everyone's question, and then I wrote them all back. And it took a long time, but it was so worth it, because people were really, really appreciative. So I think that was keeping them engaged and knowing that you care about them. Is a big one.
No, customer service. We've had Terry Walls on a webinar at Hawthorne, but for people in the audience that aren't aware of her, you want to just frame who she is and why you had her on Paleo Valley?
Oh, yeah. She had multiple sclerosis, end stage, and she was basically confined to no gravity chair, a wheelchair. She basically couldn't move, and she just did not let it get her down, and she went the mainstream route for a while, which didn't really offer her a solution, and then she created her own protocol based on the paleo diet and also functional medicine. And she literally went and found out how many of the nutrients she needed and that were in specific foods, and designed this elaborate dietary protocol that actually addressed all of those imbalances and deficiencies. And she is riding her bike, she's living a normal life, she's completely regained her health. So and she's now testing her diet in clinical trials, so it will give it the validity that it needs to reach the masses, which is really exciting.
Right, brilliant story, great outcome.
Oh, and really passionate and focused woman, so she will move mountains, I have no doubt, and she already has.
She is, yes.
Really cool.
Back to you.
And then, okay. Choosing your team wisely, I've already said I love my team, but we all share a similar vision, and that's just to let people know that food can heal and try and make them feel empowered and inspired by that, but also ethics and your lifestyle goals, because our goal here isn't to make $1 million, $5 million by the time we're 40 and then retire. We want this to be ongoing. We want to do this forever, and we want to do this in a way that's balanced. And so taking weekends off, spending time with families. So I think just choosing that kind of team is a really important consideration. And then using your unique voice. This I really struggled with. I was always trying in the beginning to emulate other people. I thought all my emails needed to be edited 1 million times, and then I always needed to know more. But what I've found through time is that people respond to me in the most positive light when I'm less formal, use stories, and I just am me. They don't necessarily need them to be perfect grammar and have a bajillion references. You can be really useful just being yourself and using those stories and your experience and whatever is making you excited about this mission. That's enough to reach people, and they'll respond to that more. And my last one is just making service making service your highest goal. And I think this, again, is responsible for most of our success. We feel at Paleo Valley that it's a privilege to help people lead a healthier life. It wakes us up in the morning, and I think people can sense when you're just trying to sell them something or when you're cutting corners. Sure. And so I just challenge all of you to measure your success in terms of how many people, how many lives you're supporting, rather than, how much money you're making. And I think just providing a high-quality product has been part of that for us.
Well, I really appreciate what you said about being authentic. It's about having integrity. When we try to present ourselves as somebody that we aren't, it doesn't really come off very well. And so, yes, when you're genuine and you tell your stories and you're using your own voice, you're going to make a connection so much easier. People, it's like, this is somebody real, not somebody that's, commercializing themselves or their business. So good for you. Bravo for that.
Oh, yeah, and I always thought, who's going to want to hear my story? Why does it matter to them? But I think it is important to know that I became inspired and then I went out to do this rather than I was in the food manufacturing business, and then in trying to make a little bit of money. So yeah, no, it's wonderful. And people definitely like to be able to relate to those they're looking for information.
I agree. Absolutely. That personal connection is so important. So let's
Yeah.
look a little bit about what the future looks like for you, Autumn. Are you planning on using your clinical education, working with clients, or what are you doing now?
Well, now mostly I have my beautiful son here, and he working he is a handful, but a wonderful handful. And so working one-on-one with clients right as I left Hawthorne and graduated, it wasn't practical because I just gave birth to my son. And so what we're doing instead, we went that online route because like I said, I had that really great team behind me and who was able to do the marketing and to be able to reach far more people than I could. Using the same amount of time. So first we started our podcast, and that was great because we could have thousands of people listening to. I was literally reading books while breastfeeding and just thought, well, I should probably reach out to these authors. And so I could share what I was learning. And so we did that. But now what we're working on is a program called Radiate in 28. And it's just my brain downloaded all the things I was learning at Hawthorne, all the things from my Psychology of Eating program, all the things from all these authors I've been interviewing, into the most succinct and user-friendly set of videos so people can just get started and not be focused on nutrient density. That's our big slant. And of course, addressing the emotional and psychological component as well. So we're working on that program and we're really excited. It's going to have email support, meal plans, just a lot of different things that I've always been wanting to give people but just hadn't had the time for yet. So we're really excited to be offering that soon.
Making the time. I love it. Downloaded your brain. Look what emerged, right?
Oh my gosh, I know. Because so many people write into the website and they just want the specific information, and I have so much of it, but putting it together in a really clear, comprehensive way, it takes time. So that's what I tried to do.
Well, thank you. I think you have some other accomplishments that you haven't shared yet, and maybe this is a good moment.
Okay. Well, like I said, it was such an honor to do the Anxiety Summit this year. I have a history of anxiety. I did my thesis on anxiety. Trudy Scott has been one of my heroes forever. She's the author of The Anti-Anxiety Food Solution. And I linked up with her because I wrote and said, oh, I developed my beef stick because I was inspired by Dr. Felice Jacka. I'd love to get it to your audience. And she said, oh, well, why don't you come and be a guest presenter? And we'll talk about anxiety in your thesis and then also about your beef sticks. So that was really, really wonderful. And that's when I gave away my thesis. I didn't know what else her audience would like better than that. So we made that happen. And then I was able to be a presenter on Magdalena of Hormones Balance. She has a really great following all about how to balance your hormones, and she let me present on how to be snack savvy, kind of like an insider's secrets on how to choose high quality snacks. I think the original title was Crap and Snacks You Don't Know About. So I really like that.
It's a good one.
It's a really good one, and there's a lot of it, so we had a lot of ground to cover. And then Paleo Magazine also awarded us. Unfortunately, it's so true. I know. Staying in the food manufacturing business, I could basically remake so many different products. It'll keep me busy for a lifetime, I'm sure of it. But we also got named one of the top snacks by Paleo Magazine, so that was really, really exciting to be acknowledged in that way, because that was our original audience.
Just beautiful, beautiful accomplishments, and still going as changing the way the world eats snacks. It's a big mission there, Autumn.
One beef stick at a time, right? Yeah, no, we're really excited about it. It sure makes my life easier, especially since having a child. You have all these great intentions about getting in that kitchen and preparing every meal. Just doesn't always happen. So I'm just happy to make anyone's life easier so they can feel great too.
Well, you're on it. I love it. How about, do you have any closing thoughts before we end this presentation?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like I said before, I never dreamt that I would end up with an online business. And I think a lot of people, when I quit my job with Tracy Anderson, thought I was absolutely losing my mind because I could have done that job forever and it was fun and I was, influencing people in a positive way. But I just felt like there was something else I needed to share. This dietary piece was so powerful. So I just think no matter what it is that you're inspired to do, do it. Get a really high quality education behind you so that you can do it well. Make sure you do it with people who uplift you and then maintain your integrity throughout the process. And I just don't think you can go wrong.
Right on. It's just like I'm speechless with that. There's nothing else to say. It's powerful words, Autumn. Bravo.
Thank you, Paula. They're from the heart. That's just what I found.
Right,
Sure.
absolutely. It's a working formula. I agree you can't go wrong with it. I've seen it again and again here at Hawthorne in the work that I do clinically, so thank you for that. Thank you for this presentation, Autumn. I'm really inspired. I hope everybody else is. I want to open it up to some questions now, okay?
Okay, absolutely.
All right. There's a question here about startup costs and what your startup costs were, and if you did, you started testing in a kitchen or went to a manufacturer for testing.
Ooh, interesting. So we went directly to the manufacturer because we had an idea of what we wanted to do. We had other beef sticks we had tried, but we really didn't have the skills to make it taste good. I mean, my brother-in-law did, but we didn't actually go that route. We went and kind of shopped around for manufacturers, and of course, it was an easy decision when there was only one who was willing to do it kind of the way that we wanted it to be done. But he was a very open-minded one and willing to redo the taste profile until we felt like we got it right. And so we did go straight to that manufacturer, and he was really wonderful, open to our feedback, and we kind of created the beef stick as a collaboration. And startup costs, it can vary dramatically. I can't even remember what our initial order was, but of course, you're going to order smaller quantities in the beginning. And although that for more money, and that isn't always fun, but sometimes when you are particularly excited or they're excited about a product, finding a manufacturer also excited about your product. I remember one of them said that he could count on his one hand how many manufacturers actually cared about the quality of what they were doing, and because we were one of them, he was really willing to make some cost cuts for us. So I think it can be a hurdle, but there are also ways to work within that. And if you would like this more specific numbers, I could get those. I would just have to email you back with them.
Okay. Are you willing to share who your manufacturer is?
I actually can't do that. I know I can tell you they're in Wisconsin, but just for the sake of, keeping it kind of our proprietary beef stick, I can't share it. If someone is concerned or something or would like more specific information about how it's done to avoid food allergies, I would definitely put you in contact with them, or we could have an exchange, absolutely, but I can't give out the name right now.
No, understand. And did you get legal support to protect your proprietary product information and name?
Yeah, we did. My father actually is an accountant. He also has a degree in law, and so he was able to connect me and to kind of work with that. He basically handles all of our legal efforts. So
Nice team you put together, Autumn.
I know, it just kind of fell right into place. It just helps because I'm surrounded by so many talented and smart people that I'm very, very fortunate for that.
I love it. One of the things that I really appreciated in this share was the products that you're making and giving attention to your audience. It's not so much you. I think it probably really emerged from initially as what worked for you and what you needed, but that I've seen consistently that you reach out to your customers to ask what they want and to get feedback directly from them, and that seems to be fundamental to driving your business, to underlying it. Am I accurate there?
Yeah, Oh my gosh, that's the most exciting part for me, especially because I love people. I just love to, they fascinate me, and I love to get into the nitty-gritty of their lives. And having an online business, it sometimes doesn't allow for that all the time. And so when people write into me and when I actually get to feel like I'm connecting with these people and helping with these people, it's literally the icing on my cake. Yeah, it's the most important thing to me. So I love that feedback and love just helping people with exactly the problems that they're having. So absolutely.
Okay, one more question back on manufacturing. If a person's looking for a manufacturer, do you have advice on how you would go about finding one? You've talked
Yes.
to hundreds of them.
So I sure did. And I
Finding one and
just
finding
used
the right one is a little bit different, right? So we'll go
uh,
with finding the right one.
finding the right one. Yes, definitely. I started on Google, of course, and I remember just beef stick manufacturers, just Googling something that simple, and I ended up finding a list of hundreds, literally of hundreds, and you can do it. I mean, it'll take a while, but finding them isn't necessarily the problem, and then you just call them one by one. Make sure you have, exactly what you want to say, so that it doesn't take all day to articulate what you're looking for, have all your
Mhm.
specs going, and you just get on the phone and you just call until you find the right ones. Probably I would actually find more than one that you'd be willing to work with, and then go visit them. We visited the facilities, checked them out, and so yes, get to know them, look them in the eye, and then go about your business.
Great, thank you. Um, like I said, I'm inspired. I hope everybody else is. Autumn, one last question. You came into Hawthorne with some very strong goals, and do you feel like you've accomplished those goals and that Hawthorne supported you in your efforts?
I absolutely think Hawthorne supported me in my efforts. Have I reached my goals yet? No, we haven't reached 100 million people yet,
Hmm.
and so I'm going to work on that for a lifetime. But as far as did I reach my goals for what I expected I'd be able to do a year after I completed my degree? Yeah, I've exceeded my expectations with that because I think that I learned a lot more than I anticipated, and I was able to apply that really effectively to food manufacturing business. I don't think there's a lot of people out there in the food manufacturing business, at least that I've met, with a degree, with not only a degree, but a holistic degree that kind of, I like Hawthorne because it takes from the fringes and it's really abreast of the emerging research.
Mhm.
And it has that freedom because, it's not a university necessarily and doesn't have so many loopholes. So, yes, I think that I will get there. And absolutely, the education supported me in that process.
Thank you so much, Autumn, for sharing with us today. It's very meaningful to me. It was very inspiring to me. It helps me continue to show up every day and do the work that I do at Hawthorne to support bringing cutting edge curriculum and supporting our students to successfully achieve their goals. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for everything you're doing over at Hawthorne and for letting me be your guest. It was such an honor.
Wow. That was my pleasure. Yes, powerful presentation. And everybody, I hope you'll meet me here again and help me spread the word for our next All About Alumni. We're going to meet back here on August 3rd when Danielle Cook is presenting for Hawthorne. Danielle Cook graduated from our clinical training program in Masters of Science in Holistic Nutrition. And she's going to be sharing about everything she's been doing post-graduation with a focus on nourishing kids with cancer. It's a powerful work that she does and just incredible journey that she's on. And the effect that she's having in this world is tremendous. It opens my heart wide, this story with Danielle Cook. So I hope you'll join me. It's another wow story. Amazing work she's accomplishing. That's Wednesday, August 3rd at 12 noon Pacific time. That's 3 Eastern. It's a great presentation. I'm sure looking forward to sharing it with you all. And until then, I want to wish you all the best of health and take good care.